Hi, I'm Mike Bush. One of the reasons our results are so good.
If the beam drifts along the vehicle in the direction of travel while it's firing, the gun is fooled into thinking the vehicle is travelling faster than it actually is. Just watch this. Stationary car, what do you do?
Well, I have a stationary car, I've got a speed meter, let's see how fast the car's going. 8 miles an hour.
That's what enables us to do what we're here to do. And we all know what that is.
We do make mistakes. We're not perfect.
So, could the camera have lied? It's crucial that in the fraction of a second it takes to get a reading, the gun is held still. This is so important it's in the official training manual, as Dr. Clark showed me.
If I point this laser speed meter at the rear of the car and pan it along the vehicle, then I can get a speed reading of a stationary vehicle. I will demonstrate that now.
6 miles an hour.
6 miles an hour.
What Dr. Clark is demonstrating is known as slip effect or panning error. If at the moment it is fired, the laser beam is slipped sideways, for example, down the side of the vehicle, the gun is effectively tricked. It interprets that movement of the beam as a speed.
So the machine is fooled into thinking that some kind of change in distance has happened.
That's right.
Because the laser beam itself has moved and moved closer to the machine.
That's it exactly.
So in theory, if an operator slips the gun along the side of a moving car, this could add the length of the car to the distance actually travelled. And we calculated this could add up to 30 miles an hour to the speed recorded.
G'day everybody. Just a little update. You probably haven't heard much from me in regards to the $80 speed ticket drama or saga. I'm still waiting to go to February. I've got my 20-point motion showing 20 individual errors, omissions, mistakes, fuck-ups, whatever you want to call them, done by the police. And I sought some independent legal advice as well, and let's just say I now have in my possession the operator's instruction manual, or the radar manual that every operator must get at least 70% correct when studied and tested. It tells you all of the rules, all of the operator is the one that is supposed to fill out the notice, which I find very interesting. So if a guy's filling out 762 notices in 3.5 hours, which we all know doesn't happen, what happens is that laser record, or the disc that records all of the offences that the operator detects that day, goes back to the Infringement Bureau, and within usually a week or so afterwards, like they'll say that the car was detected on the 22nd of April, and yet the infringement notice isn't issued until the 29th of April. A summary of the events, the provisions, they should all be on the notice. They do not put the provisions on the notice. Okay? So, 1, they're supposed to put the provisions of what you've breached on the notice, and they don't. 2, the operator that operated the radar detector is the guy that's supposed to be issuing the notice. It's under issuing notice section in the manual module. So we all know that, well, I do, when I'm looking at the notice in respect of an infringement offence that I got from the police, it says it's issued by a completely different QID number than the operator, and the operator's QID number is different from a certificate of competency to what's actually on the deployment registrar. So I don't even know if that's the same guy. So this is what happens. Those modules under best practicing guidelines in those modules state they're going to be 250 metres away. They should be within 100 metres view. In other words, they can't be parked on a rise like that prick on Triangle Road was on the 8th of November. Where he was parked was illegal. All tickets that day should be void because he was not 100 metres clear distance from the other vehicles. He's parked there. That's not 250 metres viewable distance. People are coming up over that rise, and boom, he's getting them if they're doing, he's getting them instantly if they're doing over the speed limit. Yeah, there was like less than 2 power poles. When power pole gap is usually 50 metres between them. So I'm very thankful that, and I didn't just get the owner's module, I got all the information on all the different detectors as well. So you know, they're supposed to check that the sticker's valid underneath. They're supposed to check that it's certified as accurate before they start their shift. They're supposed to write down the tracking history of each and which never happens. Tracking history comprises of 3 things. They must visually estimate the speed, then their Doppler tone should give them close enough to their estimate, and then the radar verifies the estimate and the Doppler tone. Now the Doppler tone is the angle between you and, so if I'm aiming at a car directly at me, there's no angle of variance between, like shooting off. So yeah, where was I? So yeah, the Doppler effect, or what you call the cosine angle, which is you just picture a reflection. If you're pointing something at a straight object directly at you, it's going to come straight back at you at 180 degrees. If you point it at something at an angle, it's going to reflect off, and that angle is called the cosine angle, and it creates a different tone. So the signal or frequency that the laser or radar sends out at, the tone comes back different, and it's the variant in the cosine angle that gives the measurement of the actual speed. But they're supposed to estimate it visually. They're also supposed to hear the tone first, and that's what you call the tracking history. So you're telling me that you're going to estimate the speed of every car going past every 20 seconds that's getting a ticket? I mean, that's some incredible speed. 762 tickets in 3.5 hours. I mean, what is the guy, Superman? But yeah, they're supposed to write down the details, the provisions of what section of what act that is being breached. It's supposed to be a summary of the offence on the back of the ticket. Now I'm not sure if this is just for the moving vehicle patrol stops, or if you're doing a speed check behind. There are different sections that tell you that you've got to have your speedo odometer checked as well, which is for obviously the cops that are driving along and doing checks on a moving patrol car. But for the stationary ones, they have to do that. So yeah, I'm going to be making a nice big long video for you all to see exactly what I'm talking about. It's 44 pages long. A lot of it is repetition. You know, there's only a few differences between radar and laser, and again only a few differences between whether or not it's a moving speedo check with a radar, or whether or not it's a stationary with a laser. The red flex radar detector, I believe, is what are in the stationary vehicles, as opposed to the Stalker dual, which is the other ones they use. Now the Stalker is also also come with extra features which are actually turned off for New Zealand. They're all made over in the States. So from what I can tell of the manuals anyway. So yeah, very interesting read. I'd like to thank the friend of mine that decided to supply me that information. I'm sure they're going to realise that I'm going to nitpick the living shit out of it to get everything I need and to find out what they didn't do right. Because I'm just looking at their rules, what they're supposed to have done and what actually has happened. And there's quite a big difference. And if you think about it this way, the best practices guidelines, if they're supposed to fill out every notice as it's directed in there, the operators of those speed camera vehicles aren't doing that. It's always another officer, a different QID at the infringement bureau that issues the offence and the notice. So that doesn't ring consistent with the operating manual and the module. So at the end of the day, they're not following their own procedures there either. So not only do the prosecution not follow their procedures, or the infringement bureau don't follow their procedures, but the operators sitting in the vans, probably half asleep all the time, aren't following their procedures either. They're also supposed to mark down the estimated distance away on each ticket. So that'd be interesting, you know. If they're parked 4 or 5 metres away from the first lane and you're the 3rd or 4th lane over, that's 20 odd metres distance and gap. You know, 20 metres away, 20 metres out, that's like a 45-degree cosine angle. You know, and they'll say that the greater the cosine angle, the less accurate the speed is, and it always goes in favour of the target vehicle. I always try and make out, oh yeah, but the crappier the reading, it's better for you. Well, it's more we fall back on the beyond reasonable doubt, proving every burden, proving every element of the charge. If they're saying you're doing 94 and there's a lot less accuracy, then that doesn't satisfy beyond reasonable doubt that you're actually doing that speed. And you might say, well, you're only doing 80, they're saying you were doing exceeding 80 kilometres an hour. Well, they're not claiming that. It'll say in that you drove blah 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 exceeding 80k, but then they're actually claiming you were doing 94. The charge may say that, but the claim is different. So there's variant there too. If you're doing 94, it should say in that you drove a vehicle exceeding the speed limit at 94. Well, they say 80k because in these tuning forks, you're only supposed to flick them with your finger to get the resonant frequency, and each tuning fork is set to a different frequency or a different speed. You have a 50k tuning fork, a 60k tuning fork, 80k, 100k tuning fork that you're only supposed to tap slightly. So if they've been bashing these fucking tuning forks to test it out, then they're going to get an incorrect calibration. So again, so many things I'm picking apart, because I will rip it apart to the nth degree to make sure they do their job. And there's like 20 questions at the end of this manual too. I might just run through them with the operator on the stand if it ever actually gets to that point, which I don't think it will. Anyway, catch you later. Bye.
8 miles an hour.
We do make mistakes. We're not perfect.